Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how I'm planting in my tomato seeds and what I will be using to do that this year. It is completely different to previous years, so that is why I'm doing another video on getting my seedlings ready. Now, if you've seen the update for August, you'll know that I am only doing certain seeds this year. Today I am starting off with the tomato seedlings, and I will show you which ones I am going to be doing and for this year, which is quite a few varieties. And then I will also be showing you what mediums I'm going to be using and how I'm putting all that together. For those of you new to the channel, welcome, and my name is Kim. I live in Western Australia, on the southwest Western Australia, about 2.5 hours south from Perth, for those who have visited there. So our climate here is from one extreme to another. We get anything from 0 to 4 degrees in the winter months, and in summer right up to 45 degrees. So it can be quite warm here. So if you guys want to learn how to grow your own vegetables in those kind of temperatures and changes, and how to go about doing that, and what I do with mine, which is generally all with no chemicals. The only thing I really probably use is a little bit of snail pellets to help keep those pesky snails from eating my seedlings. I figure those of you who have been following me for quite some time now, thank you for joining me here again in the greenhouse. And I really hope that you've been enjoying these videos. Don't forget to leave comments down the bottom so that we can have a chit chat and find out what everybody else is doing. Alright guys, let's get into this video and we'll have a look at how I am planting in my tomato seeds this year. So it's really quite important, everyone, to make sure that your seedling trays are clean and have no bacteria on them. So you've just been watching me wash my trays here and sorting through the trays. Some have some are broken, and I'm just sorting them out and picking out the better of the trays. I'm just going to washing them in hot soapy water. Just some mild laundry detergent or dishwashing liquid will be all you need to do this with. So you could always do it with a mix of water and vinegar if you really choose to. But yeah, these trays are kitty litter trays. I've got these for a lot of them I got really cheap, between 50 cents and $1, because they had cracks down the sides, and the ones that are not cracked, I did pay full price, which was, I think, was about $3 a kitty litter tray, which is really quite cheap compared to when you go into Bunnings or any of your other shops and buying little punnets and trays and things like that. So, and because they are a kitty litter tray, they're quite a sturdy thing, provided you don't drop them. Like anything else, it'll break if you drop it. But yeah, they're really quite sturdy. This will be my third year. A lot of these pots are. Some of them are on the second year, and some of them on their first year of use. So they do last a really long time for what you're paying for them. So yeah, just go into your local Red Dot shops, any of those kind of shops, your reject shops. Have a look at the kitty litter trays. If you find any of them with cracks in them, pull them out, go through the whole big stacks, and ask the supervisor on site what is the minimum you'll take for these broken trays, because 9 times out of 10 those broken trays are going in the bin anyway. Then you can just use a little bit of gaffer tape, whatever tape you've got, some glue, and glue those back up, and they are good to go. So once these are washed, I'm going to just let them air dry and see how they go. This water, guys, is not going to go to waste. I am going to use it to water my pot plants on the veranda, and so it will get used again. And the detergent that's in there will not hurt my pot plants, because I generally use that laundry detergent to use as my wetting soil agent anyway. So moving on from the cleaning of our pots and letting them air dry, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the products that I'm using. So this year I've decided, because my greenhouse, I was needing to water my greenhouse once to twice a day depending on how warm it got. which meant that I was really having to be on the ball and making sure that I was down there twice a day. And that time I was working 5 days a week, from 2:30 to 10:30 p.m. So I was really struggling to make sure that everything stayed moist in the greenhouse, because I wasn't there in the later afternoon when the greenhouse was drying out. So this year I am using this coco coir, environmentally friendly stuff here. I've never used this before on any part of my garden, so I've picked this one up. They're about the $27 mark. Now when I finish today's project, I will have used just over half of this into the plants, the pots that I'm doing for the day. Now I'm going to be mixing this with some store-bought soil as well. My compost at the moment it's really rich, what I do have, or it's really dry and it's just not going to do the job that I need it to do. The other thing is it's really quite chunky, so I need something quite fine to do my seedlings with. So I am going to be using a couple of bags. I think it was 2 bags that I used in the end of this Garden Basics. It's a new brand I found at Bunnings. It's around the $4 to the $5 mark. There's a whole different variety of these, for veggies to ferns, potted plants. There is just a whole bunch of different ones. So I thought I'd give these a try out. And I don't like to pay big dollars for bagged potting soil, but the range of price started at $3 something and went up to just over $5, depending on what type of the potting mix that you were using. Now this particular potting mix, it has an Australian standard stamped on it, so I'm happy with that as well. And I'm just going to be using this mixed up with the coco coir, and I'm also going to then be putting in a little bit of coffee grounds, which I have from last year's garden still left over. I bought heaps and heaps of that home from the coffee machines at work, and I didn't use it all because you don't need a lot of it. It has dried out considerably and started breaking down, so it's going to be super good for the soil this year in particular. So I'm going to get that in there as well, and I'm just going to make up a mix. So I'll just show you how I'm making up that mix. I'm doing 2 parts soil, 1 part coco coir, and then I'm just going to wet it all down, and then I'm just going to pack it into my trays, and then I will show you how I do the rest. So this coco coir stuff is super hard. I actually had to work quite hard to break it up. I guess if I'd put it in a wheelbarrow and filled it up with water like the instructions said to do, it wouldn't have been so hard. But I didn't want to wet the whole lot down if I wasn't going to use all of it, and I didn't. So breaking this up, it was really quite a bit of a task to get done, but I got it done in the end. So just a word of note, if you only want to use a small amount, do expect to break it up. If you're going to use all of it, just stick it in the wheelbarrow and fill it full of water, or like the instructions say to do. So the next part of getting our seeds into these pots, guys, is making sure that the pots are nice and full and that they are compact, so that when you water them, the soil doesn't drop and you end up with no soil in your pots for the roots of these seedlings. So basically in the end, I ended up using 3 pots of the mix I made with the coir in it, and then I put a layer of coffee grounds, just sprinkled that over there, and then on top of that I put 3 pots of the straight soil out of the bag. Then that was all nicely leveled off, as level as I could get it, and it pressed down. And then on top of that is where I sprinkled my seeds, and then I used a sieve to sieve out some soil. So sifting the soil means that the soil that is topping over your seeds is super fine and that there is no clumps of soil sitting on top of the seeds, so that they don't have to struggle when they start to grow, and that they get a really easy, good start to life. So once this is all in there, it's all nice and compact and it is all nice and as level as possible, you need to again make sure that you give them a really good water again, and then every day come down once or twice a day, depending on the weather, to how often you're going to have to keep the soil damp for the next up to 2 weeks, making sure that everything is kept nice and moist. This cocoa peat has been really great using it. I haven't had to water as often, once a day or once every other day. It hasn't been super hot at the moment, so it is making a great difference in keeping the soil nice and moist. So I will possibly continue doing it this way again from now on. But guys, you need to make the decision on what type of soils and how you're going to go about doing your soils. But that is the most important part of growing seedlings, is making sure that there is enough soil in your pot so that when your plants get to 2, 4, 6 inches tall, that they have enough space for their roots and they don't become root bound, and so that when you transplant them out into the garden, they have nice loose roots and they're not all coiled up and struggling to get going. Far end of the greenhouse, I have the Roma VFs, 2 trays, 1 and 2. Then the back is the money maker. At the front is the Sundried cherry tomatoes. The third row across is the red cherry at the back, and on the front is some Roma tomatoes. The fourth row from the back, we have at the front the Gros Lissies. At the back we have another tray of Gros Lissies, and the fifth tray from the back is these large tomatoes here, the Marndier, whatever they're called. And this tray is the other direction because it's empty until I get the other cherry tomatoes I want. So guys, make sure that the part where you are prepping, like any other part, the prepping of everything is the most important part. So take your time in doing that. And guys, thank you very much for joining me here again. Don't forget, I've got a couple of videos on the side here for you to check out. And if you're new around here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down the bottom here. And hopefully we will see you again for another video.